Hello, everyone. So, we are talking about women's health. All of us women, we have a very interesting journey, right? So, we want to talk about how Ayurveda can help us navigate this journey with a little bit ease than we normally go through. To talk about this session, we have Dr. Samuel. Dr. Samuel is an Ayurvedic doctor. She has done her post graduation focusing on women's health. She is joining me live from Bangalore, India. Welcome, Dr. Samuel. Your voice is not coming, Dr. Samuel. We cannot hear you. I'm sorry. She's just checking her technical difficulties we've been having. I'm so
Am I
sorry.
audible now? Am I
Yes,
audible
yes,
now?
yes. I can hear you.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So,
So
a
thank
real
you for
quick.
having me. Yeah.
Yeah, please. So we are talking about women's health from an Ayurvedic perspective. We have Dr. Samuel. She is joining me live from Bangalore, India. Welcome, Dr. Samuel.
Thank you so much, Shamita. Thank you for having me here.
Great. So I know, we women go through this whole journey we talked about, right? So let's just talk on from a holistic Ayurvedic point of view, how Ayurveda can help.
Yeah. So Ayurveda has a very specific way of working in the sense we focus a lot on preventive health. Now, preventive health is a very fancy term nowadays, but it's more about protecting the body and helping the body help itself. We have a lot of resources, and and we help the body help itself. When it comes to women in specific, we know that majority of the physiology of women is ruled by the hormones which are secreted by the reproductive system, and maintaining a balance in these hormones helps women have a smoother life. Now, I don't know, in a regular existence right now, we really don't focus much on how this particular activity is going to affect my hormone, or how my hormone is going to be influencing this particular activity. In Ayurveda, we help you harness that power. Like I am harnessing my own power of of femininity, that is of my hormones. If I learn to use it to my benefit, then I'm going to be having a much smoother life, and this is what we want every woman to be able to do it for herself.
Sure.
So that's
So
how Ayurveda helps.
correct. And Ayurveda has a lot of self-care practice, like daily
Yes.
rituals, seasonal rituals. But let's just focus only on women's health, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to go through a different journey? Let's say women puberty, right? Then the PMS, and then we are going into the fertility part, and then we're going into the perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, right? So there's a lot of interesting things that's happening in women's life. So let's just maybe start from the puberty part and kind of walk our way towards gradually towards postmenopausal woman.
Yeah. So the thing here is, when it comes to women in Ayurveda, like you said, we have a lot of rituals. We have a lot of rules in the sense how to take care of your body kind of rules. So we have things that you can do every day. We have things that you should do in a specific season in a certain way. What to eat at night. No, we have certain rules like that. Now, when it comes to women in specific, we have some additional rituals added, like Rajaswala Paricharya, that is how to take care of a woman during her menstruation. What rules should she follow? What should she wear? How should she talk? What should she eat? What should her emotional behavior be? Like this, we have a certain set of rules for women who are menstruating. Similarly, we have a very elaborate, what to say, a very elaborate set of rules laid out for pregnant women too. Now, when I say rules, it's not with a strict connotation, but instead it is in a way to help the woman to help herself. So, Garbhini Paricharya, we say, so it is about what a woman can eat and what are the options she has that she can indulge in without affecting the fetus, how to give birth to a healthy child, and at the same time how to bounce back into pre-pregnancy state. So that is what garbhini paricharya, that is care during pregnancy, is framed. That's how it's framed. And then coming to sutika paricharya, that is care of a postpartum woman, immediate care, late care, till she gets back to her pre-pregnant state. She remains under the supervision of an ayurvedic physician, and we make sure the woman gets back to the state where she began from. And if all of this is taken care of, like we take, when we say rajaswala paricharya, we are taking care of the woman every month. So every cycle, every 28 days, ideally every 28 days, we are taking extra care for the woman. And all this is to make sure that she has a smooth transition into menopause. So that smooth transition enables her to cope up better, and also helps that whatever that femininity that has helped her stay young all these years, we help her use that to her benefit post menopause also. So this is these are about the um, rules laid out for a woman to help in this transition, jumping from one phase to another, one the phase to another. So we give helping hands in this transition.
Sure.
And
So
I
listen.
am sure, and it benefits women a lot. And in practice, I have seen that women who undertake Garbhini Paricharya have a very smooth postpartum period. And those who take postpartum Paricharya also, we see that their health is much more in a better state when compared to those who don't.
Correct. So maybe let's just elaborate a little bit, right? You said there are a lot of rules and principles that are clearly laid
Yeah,
out for, PMS women, then the
yeah,
fertility part, the perimenopause.
yes.
So do you want to take either one of any example and just go a little bit deeper into what type of principles that you are talking about as an example?
Okay. Okay. Oh, like what would you be interested in? I could talk about Rajaswala Paricharya, how to take care of women during periods, or another interesting part is Sutika Paricharya, how to take care of a woman in her postpartum period. Both are quite interesting.
So let's talk about the periods part.
Okay, so in the periods part, like we know, Indians have a very have a attachment towards this puberty thing. So that's intended for medical reasons. So we help. So now we see girls entering into puberty earlier, much earlier when compared to their ancestors. So we see that we help the woman girl transition into that period by giving her extra attention, by counseling her as to what periods is and how it's going to be impacting you positively. We put a very, it's very positive, no? There's a lot of celebration to puberty. So we look at it as a, so periods are not frowned upon in our culture, in Ayurveda, but periods are looked at as something very auspicious, as something very special, as something that entitles you to something extra. I We look at it that way. And once the so in that particular phase, we make sure that we give a certain kind of food which will enable optimum flow. Like for instance, in puberty, the HPO axis, that is the hypothalamo pituitary ovarian axis, that the axis which governs menstruation is not matured yet. In the sense, it's just kick-starting, right? It's like that wheel, it's just starting. And the kind of food that we give, which is predominantly jaggery till based, and also something which is going to increase the amount of the function of the apana vayu, that is the vata which functions in downward direction. So we are going to enhance that function. So as a result, what happens, even if this HPO axis is not set, we make sure that the uterus contracts sufficiently and sends out all the endometrium that it has accumulated in that particular period, because that otherwise doesn't happen. Because the wheel, like I said, it's a wheel, it's just starting, and once it is in motion, it goes on, and we give that extra help to help pull that wheel. So that is why puberty is celebrated in our system. And then about Rajaswala Paricharya in particular, so once the girl enters into subsequent cycles, we we have a practice of isolating girls. So it's in, when we say isolate, it is not keeping them away from the society, but it is about giving her a privilege that she can choose to rest if she wants to. No, she doesn't have to run around and do her usual work if she doesn't prefer to. Instead, we are giving her, we are telling her that you like, like period leave. Like now we are asking for period leave, right? Just like that, we are telling her that go take your time out, take some me time for yourself, relax, do what you like, and you need not stress out over thinking about your responsibilities like children or work or work at home or whatever that is. You can just relax, and that's why we have a practice of isolating women. In this, we are isolating in terms of practices, so we are just giving her some time for herself, and that is very important to help calm the hypothalamus. And once the hypothalamus calms, now what happens is in this period, that's the beginning phase of menstruation, that is the period of menstruation and the period immediately following that, what happens is there is going to be a lot of the hormones are going to increase, like the FSH is going to increase, the follicles are going to be selected one by one from the ovary. And if we are able to regulate the selection of follicles, so what happens is we are making sure that the best follicle is selected, and at the same time we're making sure there is no hyperactivity and multiple follicle selection does not take place like in PCOS, so that more follicles are not exhausted, because women have limited number of follicles. Unlike men who keep producing sperm every day, women do not produce ovum like that. The women are born with a certain number of ovum, and they die with a certain number of dead ovum, so once these ovum are exhausted, we enter into menopause. So our entire job is to make sure that whatever she has is protected and used to her benefit. So that's what we do during this Rajaswala Parichaya. So one is rest, the other one is encouraging happy thoughts. That is, we counsel her and make sure her thoughts are positive. So we say surround yourself with people you like. So there is a practice of surrounding themselves with women they like or women who are menstruating, and that practice is also there. And then there is we also encourage her to have healthy food. When we say healthy food, there is a term called Havishya Mannam. So Havishya Mannam is what is used in certain religious practices for increasing the sattva in the body. So it includes a group of the food items like shali, that is red rice, old in the sense 60 days old harvested rice, which is considered to be the best rice, and moong dal. And there's going to be some drugs which are going to increase the appetite. And so like this, and some gods, like gods, which there's ash god, and this bottle god. So we have these kind of fleshy vegetables added to your diet with a lot of ghee. And then we make sure that you are not indulging in too spicy, too salty this foods that's going to increase your rajas or your tamas. So we make sure that the diet part is also taken care of. So when all this wholesome, when a woman is attended to in a very wholesome way, her happy hormones are going to increase naturally. It's going to increase, serotonin is going to increase. And when woman feels that okay, I am taken care of, somebody is there to take care of me, somebody is there to acknowledge that I am going through a tough time, automatically she starts feeling better. And that the 3 days of care has an impact throughout the month. And when you imagine accumulated 12 months of care is going to make her year good, and so many months of care is going to make sure that her entire lifetime or reproductive lifetime is good. So this is a form of expressing our respect towards women, and also telling her that you are safe and you are noticed and you're taken care of. So that is a little bit about Rajaswala Paricharya, the
Well, I
care of
think
a woman during their
it's
periods.
beautiful the way Ayurveda lays
Yeah,
out very clear principles. So
yeah.
maybe you can, we have a couple of more minutes. You want to talk
Okay.
about a few minutes to talk about another part of women's journey, like, I don't know, maybe perimenopause. A lot of women are
Yeah,
facing perimenopause in the late
yeah,
30s nowadays, early
yeah,
40s,
yeah.
which I
Yes.
kind it's really bad for us if
Yeah,
you think.
it's really bad. Yeah, it's really bad. Now, it's the same logic works here. The logic is that when you are born with a limited number of ovum, now when these ovum, when you're exhausting them at a faster rate, and a time when you are really active in your reproductive age, like when you if you hit puberty at 13, or maybe now very much earlier, 9 and 10, and you have been exhausting ovum since then. Yeah, so you keep exhausting your ovum, and the moment it gets completely exhausted, you touch menopause. So the key to a healthy menopause, like I said, is always looking back. Prevention, prevention. So it is about making sure that you slow down when you can. That is, if you're still not in that not entered, if you've still not entered that phase, slow down. Now, because women, see, now we have entered, women are achieving that sense of equality, but it is actually become such that women are working, but nobody is there to take care of their responsibility, in back end responsibility. There's nobody to take care. So ultimately what's happening is women are doing everything now, which is harming her only, ultimately harming her. So retrospectively, I think, thinking about it, it is all about prevention and practices, some healthy practices. We have practices like shodhana, which is panchakarma procedures to help control your doshas. So we could do that. We could indulge in drugs like shatavari, shatapushpa, yashtimadu, ashwagandha, drugs like this, which can help reduce the oxidative stress in the system. Indulge in practices which help you slow down. Like, not, see, when I say slow down, asanas, yoga helps you slow down. Power yoga doesn't help you slow down. Yeah, so it's about doing the right kind of thing to slow down and help your system rejuvenate. That's also necessary. It's always, people are focused on what's productivity. Rest is also equally essential. That is where your system heals, that is where the breakdown stops. And so it is important to sleep well, it is important to eat right, and it's important to slow down. Now, for women who've already entered that particular phase, I'm still telling you, it's not late. It's not at all late. You still have the time, but do not panic, because automatically, when the hormones are going out of track, it's natural to panic. So the panic adds to the oxidative stress, adds to destruction. So do not panic, calm down, adopt healthy practices like, first, eating 2 meals a day, meals packed with nutrition, at least one fruit a day, two vegetables, and a handful of nuts. They are all essential. They contribute to your health. It's just not having quinoa or having a little bit of chicken, grilled chicken. That's not going to suffice. So it's about having a wholesome meal, eating seasonal, exercising sufficiently to how much ever strength you can, and approaching an Ayurvedic doctor and getting some medicines which is going to improve your natural circulating level of estrogens. So this is what I would be advising to women who are already in their perimenopause. The women who are looking forward to menopausing healthy, it's there is still plenty of time to approach a doctor and make sure that you're on the right track.
Sure.
I'm so
And Shweta,
happy you asked this question,
because it's
Megha.
become a lot of problem, right, for all
Yeah,
of us,
yes. Yeah, and
menopause.
and as a doctor, when I look at them, I wish you came to me 10 years back. That's what I feel like saying. But then time is time. So if people can come, if people have if they have the option to do so, I think they should.
Sure. So, what are your thoughts on Shatavari? Shatavari has been labeled as the Ayurveda wonder drug for women, right? So,
Yes, yeah,
can you
yeah.
talk a little bit about
It
Shatavari?
is. Yeah, it is. It is told to be that way. It is known to have potent phytoestrogenic activity. That is, it is acts as it adds to, like I said, the naturally a natural way of improving the circulating level of estrogens. So Shatavari is known to give woman her femininity. So we have textbooks which talk about Shatavari in length. So it says that if you take Shatavari in a certain way, we call it Shatavari Kalpa, in a certain way, mixing it with ghee and taking it in small quantities every day for a certain period of time, say 90 days or 6 months or 1 year, with a certain kind of diet. The text claims that your skin will never have wrinkles, you will never grow old, you will be very fertile, and your your youth will reflect in your life. So that is the way the text talks about Shatavari. There's one more drug that the text talks this way, that is Shatapushpa. Shatapushpa is another drug which is equally acclaimed and equally spoken about. And the only thing is, if you want to get these benefits from these drugs, you should be at the right place. In the sense, it has a lot of diet associated with it, diet and activity. They never say that you take only this and it's going to be fine. They said take this with this diet for this much time and then see what it's doing on you. So that is a sort of that is called rasayana in Ayurveda. So it's a rejuvenative treatment, and rejuvenative treatment cannot be done in a superficial manner, or it cannot be just given out to people. So if you take it in the right way, I'm sure it's going to be beneficial. It is beneficial.
Sure, sure, sure. No, thank you so much for being with us, for
Yeah,
sharing this information. I think it's so helpful for all of us. You know,
yeah. Thank you,
doesn't matter
Anita.
the stage we are going through, with young woman to all the way to menopausal, but Ayurveda can help you. That's what we want to bring this segment to you. How Ayurveda can help you. Anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up today, Dr. Samuel?
Uh, yeah, what I would like to say is there is like yeah. So for a woman, it more than a man, it is important for a woman to make sure that her metabolism and her way of living is in her control, because the woman is constantly changing, so she has a few benefits compared to men. Like she has a better charge of her metabolic disturbances. At least that, if a woman is able to take control over, then I'm sure her life will be much more smoother. So instead of complaining that I have pain, if I have dysmenorrhea, I'm suffering, I'm lying down, or instead of just complaining, do something about it. Just do something, or stop popping pills, stop taking too much of paracetamol, stop taking all those oral contraceptive pills. There are better ways to handle your health, and continue to reach out to people who can help you. That's what I
Yes.
would like to say. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. And that's what we are trying to do. Nourish Talk is trying to do exactly the same thing. We're trying to help lower, prescription drugs, right? We are not saying don't go to the doctors. We are just saying that there is another way, natural therapies, and look at natural therapies, and they can help you. So that's why we are doing every single day 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes of wellness tips. And we are getting experts from all over the world to help all of you live a healthier life. That's what we are trying to do. And I thank you so much, Dr. Samuel, for being with us. And I
Thank
thank
you.
everyone for supporting us every single day from bottom of my heart. Thank you. And this is not a medical advice. I do want to put a disclaimer out there. Dr. Samuel is just giving healthy tips. That's all she's doing. Thank you.